Chapter 84 of Married Thrice to Salted Fish. During the start of summer, the Crown Prince Shah Cheng was repeatedly censured by the censors, charged with bringing dishonor to his ancestors' achievements, of acting without proper authority, and of collecting cronies. Immediately after, an order came from the emperor, addressed to temple of our ancestors and to all the people of the country. King Ning, fourth son of the emperor, modest and self-effacing, of virtuous character, taking after his majesty himself, is granted the scroll, treasure, and possession of the crown prince. On the day of the proclamation of the new crown prince, Lin Qingyu and Gu Fuzhao went to the palace to attend the ceremony. The two stood for hours under the scorching sun. Lin Qingyu managed fine, and at the end of the ceremony was still as magnificent as snow. Gu Fuzhao, on the other hand, was half dead from baking under the sun, his coat attire already soaked through with sweat. This frail foreigner couldn't stand the high temperature that had persisted the past few days. As soon as they returned to the mansion, quick as a bolt of lightning, he took off his heavy coat clothes and slumped on the cool bench in only his sleeping garments. For a good long while, he couldn't even muster up a single word. Huan Tong brought in a bucket of ice, and Hua Lu served up red grapes that had been soaking in the well. Slowly, Gu Fuzhao managed to recover. While Gu Fuzhao was dazed by the heat, Lin Qingyu had already changed his clothes. He was dressed in unadorned white, sitting at the table with a jade fan in hand, explaining today's dinner to Huan Tong. With the light of the summer sunset draping over his figure, he created a serene scene worthy of painting. Seeing this, an unquenchable fire rose in Gu Fuzhao's heart. He really wanted to go over there and tease him. But after standing for 6 straight hours, even moving his fingers proved difficult. He felt like he would die if he leaves his bed. Have the kitchen cook a pot of barley porridge. Prepare some pickles to stir the appetite, and then prepare a couple of stir-fried vegetable dishes. Huan Tong wrote down the instructions. He said, "Young master, do you really not want any meat or fish? The general might be unhappy with the lack of meat." Lin Qingyu thought for a while and said, "Then add some braised pork leg. Once the meal is ready, send it directly to our room." "All right, I'll have the kitchen prepare these." The general's mansion housed no elders, and with Gu Fuzhao, this man of elegance and refinement by his side, Lin Qingyu found himself starting to slacken in matters of etiquette. When he had nothing to do, he would accompany Gu Fuzhao for a lie-in in bed. Gu Fuzhao was often too lazy to go to the front hall to eat, so he would have the food delivered to their room. During rare times of leisure, when he wasn't reading books, dispensing medicines, or raising Gu, he would spend time whiling away the hours with Gu Fuzhao. If things went on like this, Gu Fuzhao was definitely going to corrupt him into becoming a bag of lazy bones as well. Lin Qingyu turned around. He caught the sight of Gu Fuzhao lying motionless on the cool bench. He frowned a little. "How long do you plan on lying there? Aren't you going to change your clothes?" Gu Fuzhao stretched out his hand and pointed at the table. He said with a lazy tone, "Qingyu, I want to eat grapes." The red grapes were placed not far from Gu Fuzhao's hand. He needed only to straighten up to reach them. With a "you are hopeless" expression, Lin Qingyu approached and plucked a red grape. "Don't eat too much. We will be having the evening meal soon." Gu Fuzhao blinked. "Feed it to my mouth." Lin Qingyu narrowed his eyes. He quickly and accurately shoved the red grape into Gu Fuzhao's mouth. "You're going to die from laziness." The red grape was sweet and juicy, and because it'd been soaked in the well, it also had a heat-relieving effect. Gu Fuzhao was satisfied with his meal. Just as Lin Qingyu was about to withdraw his hand, Gu Fuzhao grabbed it and pulled him into his arms. Lin Qingye was forced to sit on General Slacker's lap. His eyes narrowed like knives, but he didn't struggle. So, now you have energy again? While I don't have energy for anything else, I still have the energy to hold my wife. Gu Fuzhao twisted off a grape and fed it to Lin Qingye. He waited until after Lin Qingye ate it before saying, Xiaojie has already attained the title of Crown Prince. For the time being, Shirong is behaving himself and is content with his lot. Can you take a break now? Lin Qingye said, the sea of learning has no horizon. For those who have the heart, there is never a moment to be idle. The sea of learning may have no bounds, but your husband's age does. Gu Fuzhao was being naughty as he held Lin Qingye in his arms. His hand touched that graceful waist, that slender abdomen lingering. I'm in my 30s. If we wait until you're done before you accompany me, even if I want to do something to you, my spirit might be willing, but my flesh would be weak. By then, would you take me square dancing, or should we simply gossip under the sheets? Gu Fuzhao's caresses made Lin Qingye feel a little like smiling. What is square dance? Hualu came in with the food. Seeing the young master sitting on the general's lap, listening carefully to the general's description of a beautiful dance with a very exotic style, she felt an upsurge of emotion in her heart. Though she has been serving the young master for so long, she never knew he had this side to him, gentle like water. Whenever the young master and the general were together, they were happy. This was a kind of happiness that young Master Hao couldn't give to him. When the young master and young Master Hao first became husband and wife, the young master didn't have any good feelings for young Master Hao. Later on, he gradually softened and grew willing to accept young Master Hao. And yet, there still remained that layer of forbearance and gloom in his eyes. He knew that young Master Hao only had a year left to live. So, even when he was happy, there was always a shadow behind it. And now that he was by General Gu's side, though the deep shadow persisted, there would certainly come a day when he would completely recover. Suddenly, Hualu felt relieved. Gone was the feeling of unwillingness she felt for young Master Hao. She no longer blamed the general for snatching away the young master, because the young master's smile, so genuine and unguarded, was truly beautiful. Hualu withdrew with the food, almost bumping into Huan Tong, who was carrying a pot of calamus wine. Huan Tong asked, "Why did you come out again?" Hualu blushed. "The young master and the general are too busy to eat right now. Let's bring these in a little later. It's so hot, better let the porridge cool first." In the room, Gu Fuzhao was still talking without cease on and on, inadvertently locking eyes with Lin Qingye. He suddenly felt like an idiot talking about square dancing with Lin Qingye. He immediately cut his losses and changed the topic. In short, since matters have come to temporary close, it's also time for you to fulfill your promise. Tomorrow, you're not allowed to go to the palace, nor are you allowed to go to the imperial physician's office. You are to stay here in the mansion and keep me company. Lin Qingye was about to say something when he heard Gu Fuzhao say, "You gave me a written pledge." Lin Qingye curled his lips. "I remember. There are 24 hours in a day, and I won't deprive you even an hour less." Gu Fuzhao smiled and leaned forward to kiss him. Lin Qingye pushed Gu Fuzhao away and said, "You're sweating all over. Aren't you going to take a bath yet?" Hearing the word bath, Gu Fuzhao already felt tired. "Save me. Washing my hair is such a bother," Lin Qingye said. "On hot days like today, it's easy for long hair to dry." It's still too much trouble. Qingyu, I want to cut my hair short. Can I? Short hair? Lin Qingyu asked curiously. How short? Gu Fuzhao gestured with his thumb and index finger. The two fingers were almost touching. This short. Lin Qingyu thought for a while and said, why don't you just become a monk? The next day, Lin Qingyu actually didn't go anywhere. He even specially instructed Yan Yan to close their gates and turn away guests for today. Gu Fuzhao slept in until it was 3 poles high in the sky. After getting up, he shared a noontime meal with Lin Qingyu. In the afternoon, during the hottest time of the day, the two stayed in their room stocked with ice. On a whim, Gu Fuzhao chatted with Lin Qingyu about music. Lin Qingyu's specialty lay in medicine. Nevertheless, he had studied the 4 arts. Gu Fuzhao wanted to see him play music, so he asked Huan Tong to go fetch a Gu Chen from the warehouse. Huan Tong didn't know which one Lin Qingyu was pertaining to, so he simply bought the whole cash over. The box contained all the musical instruments that Lin Qingyu had used. Gu Fuzhao picked up a Shi Chen and said, is this an erhu? Erhu? Lin Qingyu said, in the Dayu, this is called Shi Chen. I know how to play this one, Gu Fuzhao said with great interest. When I was young, my mother forced me to choose 2 kinds of musical instruments to learn, a foreign instrument and a classical one. For the latter, I chose the Shi Chen. Lin Qingyu said, why does it feel like all the things you know to do, your mother forced you to learn? Gu Fuzhao said with a chuckle. Yeah, it's fortunate I had her. Otherwise, finding myself here in the Dayu, I wouldn't even been able to write with a brush. What could I have used to make you fall for me? Seeing the homesick look in Gu Fuzhao's eyes, Lin Qingyu had no idea how to comfort him. Gu Fuzhao's hometown was so far away, it was practically impossible for him to go back. Lin Qingyu lowered his eyes. He plucked the strings lightly and asked, what song do you want to listen to? Gu Fuzhao smiled and said, Qingyu, I will use this Shi Chen to play a duet with you. How about it? Lin Qingyu smiled. All right. The pair had absolutely no tacit understanding, creating a piece that was jarring and harsh to the ears. Huan Tong and Hua Lu were tortured for a long time, even pulling away farther than the other. When the sun began to set, Gu Fuzhao took Lin Qingyu to the pond to fish. He has been in the Dayu for some time, and fishing has become Gu Fuzhao's favorite pastime. It required little effort, and it provided the joy of a harvest. It was a lot more enjoyable than playing basketball or tennis. While Gu Fuzhao fished, Lin Qingyu stayed by his side, giving him a bite of freshly cut fruit from time to time. Several maidservants were coming from a distance. Seeing the two, they approached and saluted. General, Madam. Gu Fuzhao saw that each of them had a straw basket full of bamboo leaves. He asked, are you going to make gongxi? The servant girl smiled and said, what else? It's going to be the Dragon Boat Festival soon. We were thinking to wash the leaves and glutinous rice in preparation. We didn't mean to disturb the general and his wife. You're not disturbing us, Lin Qingyu said. Gongxi, how do you wrap it? Gu Fuzhao was greatly surprised. The maid hurriedly took out a bamboo leaf and put a handful of glutinous rice on it. First, fold it like this, then this. Finally, turn it over and tie it with a rope. Lin Qingyu nodded. I will give it a try. He had no interest in fishing, and simply accompanying Gu Fuzhao was boring, and so he found something for himself to do. He wanted to make gongsi. It looked simple but was difficult to do. Though he tried several times, he is simply unable to do it. After some time, he completely lost patience. Gufuja took a look and said, high-end ingredients often require simple cooking methods. Dr. Lin, who kept at it for an entire hour, decided to leave everything to the servants. The air was filled with the leisurely smiles of summer evenings. Lin Qingyu dried his hands and said without a change in expression, "Shut your mouth." At this moment, Yan Yan turned up. He looked for the both of them. "General, madam, someone came to the mansion to deliver a message," Lin Qingyu said. "I said no guests today." But that person brought a token with him. Yan Yan took out a golden stone. It was the same one Lin Qingyu had given to Shen Haoshi that day. Lin Qingyu said, "Where's that letter? Bring it to me." Shen Haoshi's words were as succinct as ever. "See you at Jingxiu Pavilion." Lin Qingyu said, "Shen Haoshi is still in the capital." Gufuja read the letter over Lin Qingyu's shoulder. Reminding him, he said, "You promised one whole day, 24 hours, and hour less means it's not one whole day." Lin Qingyu said, "Then I won't go." Gufuja looked at him with a slightly hesitant look. He laughed out loud. No, it can't be that Dr. Lin didn't see that. I was just joking." Lin Qingyu was slightly startled. A joke? He really hadn't thought he was joking. Gufuja said, "Shen Haoshi came to see you at this time. It must be something serious and maybe urgent. How can I not let you go?" Despite Gufuja saying this, but Lin Qingyu had made a firm choice. "No, I promise to accompany you for the whole day. A man of virtue is as good as his word." "Come on, when did you become a man of virtue?" Gufuja laughed. "You're obviously a vengeful petty man with lies on hand and words running contrary to one's heart." Lin Qingyu's tone was contemptuous. "So, that is how the general sees me?" "He has lied to many people, but he has never lied to Gufuja. Isn't it such a coincidence that my exact type are deceitful great beauties?" Lin Qingyu had never been one to go along with this ruse of Gufuja's. The general's type isn't deceitful great beauties. The general just likes great beauties. In other words, what Gufuja liked the most was his face. "You can't say that. After all, the only reason why I like deceitful great beauties is because you are deceitful." Gufuja put his hands on Lin Qingyu's shoulders and pushed him outside. "All right now, hurry up. Go. The protagonist of the original book is still waiting for you. Come back as soon as you're done." "You..." Lin Qingyu reluctantly compromised. "I can go by myself." Gufuja watched Lin Qingyu leave. Once he was gone, Gufuja chuckled to himself. He stretched and went back to his room to catch up on sleep.